So, hi, my name is Savita, founder of Medicine Without Cruelty, an educational organization dedicated to promoting non-animal methods in science. Here with me is Ronnie Lee. Ronnie is probably for being one of the founders of the Animal Liberation Front and for having spent about 9 years in prison for ALF activities. In more recent years, though, he has turned his attention to vegan outreach and frequently speaks of the importance of vegan education and of local vegan activist groups for the achievement of animal liberation. So thank you so much for joining me, Ronnie.
It's a pleasure, always is.
Thank you. I only have one question for you, and it's why should we ban animal testing?
Well, primarily because it's immoral and unethical. Obviously, there are strong scientific arguments against that. I think an increasing number of doctors and scientists are coming opposed to it, for scientific reasons. But there's an underlying moral objection to it, and I think it's really important that we always emphasize that. Now, you see, if you go back to the time of the Second World War, the Nazis carried out experiments on Jewish people and others, people of other races of human beings, and so they carried out experiments on those other people. Now, we would regard those experiments as morally wrong, appalling, and horrendous, whether or not they resulted in any benefit to the Aryan race. Now, I regard experiments on other animals, experiments done by humans and other animals, as being similar in terms of how they are immoral, because humans do those experiments because they consider themselves as superior to other sentient animals. Those animals have feelings like we do, and the argument that those animals maybe aren't as intelligent as us doesn't hold water, because first of all, what we're talking about in terms of intelligence anyway, and also even human beings that are of lower intelligence, shall we say, of who have cognitive problems, would not be regarded as being candidates for experimentation. It would be regarded as wrongful to experiment on human beings who have cognitive difficulties, even if that meant that the intelligence of those humans, in terms of, say we're talking about academic intelligence, which is usually what's referred to, is less than the intelligence of animals that experimented on. If there was a human being whose intelligence was regarded as being less than that, say, of a rat or a mouse, it would still be regarded as immoral to experiment on that human. So therefore, how can it be morally justified on rats or mice or any of the other animals that these tests are done on? This is totally unethical. So no matter whether or not, or whether it's thought that they may be of benefit to humans, those experiments are still immoral, they're still ethical, they still shouldn't be done, and they still should be made illegal.
So, yeah, thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure. I think it's really important. I think it's really important we don't forget the moral argument.
Yeah.
And I think especially if we're going out campaigning against animal experimentation, and we're not scientists, we don't have very much of a knowledge of science. I've had instances where I've been doing a street stall, an anti-vivisection street stall, and I've had someone come up to me claiming to be a scientist and saying, no, you don't know what we're talking about. We need these animal experiments, scientifically need them to help humans. Because I'm not a scientist,
Yeah.
I'm not able to argue on scientific grounds, but on moral grounds, I can. There is no argument against me. There is no argument against it being morally wrong to experiment on other animals. So I think it's really important. We don't neglect the moral argument.
Absolutely. And these so-called scientists, they should know as well if they look at the studies that have been done looking at animal testing and whether it's actually had any benefit, the outcomes are the same percentage probability as flipping a coin. You might in some
I don't dispute that at all, and
Yeah.
I think it's really important that tests are done that don't involve animals, and that those are used. And know there's a growing body of opinion that testing on other animals is unscientific, and there's all sorts of other ways in which it can be done without using animals, and that's obviously what we should do.
Absolutely.
But whether or not those methods existed, it would still be morally wrong to
Right.
experiment on other sentient animals.
Yeah, because your argument actually about intelligence as well was really interesting because time and time again you'll see in the news about how animals can act are quite, display quite complex behaviors and of varying intelligence as well. So that there's a lot that we're finding out simply by observing animals, in their natural environment.
Well, yes, and I kind of dispute this, in a sense, the so-called intelligence of humans. I mean, how intelligent is an animal? And I'm referring to the human animal that's rapidly destroying its
Its own
environment.
habitat.
We've got the increasing threat of nuclear war, and we've also got the continuing threat of another pandemic, and all these things exist because of human behavior. So how intelligent
Yeah,
how intelligent is a creature that has brought about not just one risk of the destruction of its own
yeah,
species, of
yeah.
their own species, but three. There's three. We face three risks of the annihilation of our species, or severe in wipeout, I suppose, for our species. Not we face three. We face the climate crisis, we face nuclear annihilation, and we face the threat of another really serious pandemic. So how intelligent is how intelligent is
I agree.
an animal
I
brought,
see.
has brought that about? No other
Yeah.
no animal on Earth has done that, has put its own species at risk like that. Well, not just our own species, but all the others. And in fact, it's other species. But looking at, for instance, the climate crisis, that is already causing far more harm to other animals than it's to humans. You look at just one one aspect of it. The forest fires seem to be kind of occurring all over the world, and the number
Mm,
of other animals are perishing, those in their billion, being
yeah.
victims of something that humans have caused.
Gosh.
So not very intelligent. The name, the name of the Latin name of the human species, Homo sapiens, wise, the wise man. Yeah, to me that's just I'd call humans something like Homo tyrannicus, the tyrant Homo sapiens, because that's the way we've behaved as a species. I mean, not all of us, the people like you and I that oppose that and are trying to change things. But sadly, we're
Absolutely.
still in the minority. But hopefully, one day that won't be the case.
Hopefully there'll be more people listening to the Sun Project. And thank you so much for providing your thoughts on this.
No, you're very welcome. And your project told me more about it previously, and it sounds very exciting and interesting. And I wish you all the best with it.
Thank you.